Hello everyone, myself Dr. Rajiv Gupta, working as Assistant Professor in Srimati M.D. Patel Institute of Physical Science and Research, Anand. The course which is I am teaching here is BSc Chemistry. The semester is 5th semester, subject is Analytical Chemistry. This subject has subject code US05CCHE24. The unit number is 3, which is chromatography second, and its second major topic is high performance liquid chromatography, HPLC. Hello everyone, this is Dr. Rajiv Gupta. In this lecture, I am going to discuss on the apparatus or instrumentation of HPLC, high performance liquid chromatography. So this is the detailed description of apparatus of HPLC. In this HPLC technique, we see separation, identification and quantification of sample components in a mixture. These mixture could contain inorganic compounds or organic compounds or biomolecules. So here these biomolecules separate. First these are separated inside the HPLC column. Then these are identified quantitatively and qualitatively. So it is a very good analytical technique to separate and analyze various chemical compounds. This technique is suitable for that compounds which are non-volatile and thermally unstable. As we have seen in an earlier lecture that in gas chromatography the compound should be volatile and these compounds should be thermally stable. But the compounds in chemistry which are non-volatile in nature and which are thermally unstable means if we apply high temperature to that compounds, then that compounds degrade. So the GC technique is not suitable for that type of compounds. So we have to use this HPLC technique for these type of compounds. Also, high molecular weight compounds like polymers could also be analyzed using HPLC technique because these are also could not be analyzed in GC. In HPLC generally a high pressure is applied on mobile phase or liquid phase to flow the mobile phase at very high pressure, and with this mobile phase the analyte or our sample passes through the closed column packed column. So in this HPLC technique generally packed columns are highly used, and these packed column contain very micron sized particles, almost 5 micron sized particles of silica gel generally. These micron sized particles which are filled in the packed column of HPLC contains this type of stationary phase. Over this stationary phase these sample components separate. The pumping pressures of several hundred atmosphere are required to achieve reasonable flow rates with packing of 3 to 10 micrometer. So what is said here in HPLC technique, as I said, the packing material which could be a silica gel, its particle size range could be 3 to 10 micron. So this is very small particle size, and when this type of fine powder of silica gel is used for packing the column, then the pores in between these particles have very small diameter. So to flow the liquid or mobile phase through this column, we have to apply very high pressure, almost several hundreds, means 200 atmosphere, 300 atmosphere, or 400 atmosphere, like this. So at very high pressures, this mobile phase could flow inside this stationary phase or inside this column. Because of these high pressures, the equipment for HPLC tends to be more elaborate and expensive than equipment for other types of chromatography. So as we see in GC, that GC was somewhat cheap technique compared to HPLC, because in HPLC we have to apply very high pressure on the liquid. So the instrument is more elaborate and expensive compared to other chromatographic instruments or techniques. HPLC instrumentation is typically made up of 9 basic components. Generally in HPLC apparatus we see 9 types of basic components. The first one is mobile phase, which we put in our solvent reservoir. So this is the first component, that is solvent reservoir, in which we put our mobile phases, our solvents in liquid state. And these solvent reservoirs will be attached to degassers, the degassers which remove dissolved gases from our mobile phase, because these dissolved gases could create problem inside the column or instrument during experiment. Now the second point is solvent delivery system or pumps. These are very highly required part of this HPLC, where these pumps push the mobile phase or solvent at very high pressure inside the instrument. So using these pumps, very high pressurized pumps, we apply very high pressures of several hundred atmospheres. So at these high pressures, the liquid flow through the very fine and completely close packed columns. Now sample introduction device. The samples obviously will be dissolved in a proper solvent which will be similar to mobile phase. These sample solutions will be introduced using sample introduction device or sample injection port using a syringe. So this is also a very good part, very essential part of HPLC instrument. Now the column, which is the heart of any chromatography technique, in which our stationary phase is filled. Generally two types of columns are used in HPLC. First one is guard column or pre-column, and the second one is analytical column. The guard column protects this analytical column from any particulated impurities. So it increases the life of this analytical column, and the analytical column is the main column in which our actual separation of sample components take place. Post column apparatus, this is also a part of HPLC instrument. Now detector which detects qualitatively and quantitatively our sample components. The detectors could be UV visible detector, electrochemical detector, refractive index detector, etc., etc. Then data collection system and output system, post detector eluent processing, and connecting tubing and fitting. This is the connective tubing and fitting comes into the plumbing system, where these all liquid states flow inside the instrument. These all essential components to perform HPLC are shown in the following schematic diagram, which I will see in the next slide. The liquid phase is pumped at a constant rate to the column packed with the stationary phase. So what is required here? due to presence of these pumps, this liquid phase or mobile phase flow with constant rate, almost 1 ml or 2 ml per minute from the column. Before entering the column, the analysis sample or liquid is injected. Means just before entering the analytical column or guard column, we inject our liquid sample in this carrier stream or in this mobile phase. On reaching the column, the sample components are selectively retained on the basis of physico-chemical interactions between the analyte molecules and the stationary phase. So this is the basic principle of working principle of any chromatography technique, where the various sample components selectively retained, which shows more physico-chemical interactions with stationary phase, that components retain for more time, and which show lesser physico-chemical interactions between analytical molecule and stationary phase, these retain for lesser time, or that contains low retention time. So according to that basic principle, these various components separated inside the column. The mobile phase moving at a steady rate elutes the components based on the operating conditions. Detection techniques are employed for detection and quantification of the eluted components. The components which are eluted from our analytical column, these will be detected using detectors. So this is the schematic diagram or block diagram of HPLC instrument. So we can put all the parts of this instrument in a sequence. First we see our solvent reservoir. There could be more than one solvent reservoirs on this HPLC instrument. If we are using more than one solvent, then more than one solvent reservoirs or bottles, glass bottles could be used. So on these solvent reservoirs, degassers could be attached. These degassers will remove any dissolved gases from this solvent. After that, these solvents will be mixed in a mixing vessel. So why we use more than one solvent? Because we require any specific polarity of that mobile phase, so we have to use a mixture of solvents. Then this mixture of solvent will be pushed at a high pressure using high pressure pump. So inside this portion, the pressure in this plumbing system is very high. Now this mobile phase passes through the pre-column or guard column. What is the function of this pre-column or guard column? It removes any particulated impurity which is present in our solvent system or our mobile phase. So after that, very pure or HPLC grade solvent will move towards the sample injection port. Sometimes, generally, the pre-column or guard column is situated in between sample injection port and analytical column. But here in this block diagram, this pre-column or guard column is shown before the sample injection port. Now after passing through this guard column, it moves to the flow splitter. So this flow splitter, presence of this flow splitter depends on the nature of used detector. Suppose we are using UV visible detector, then that UV visible detector detect our sample components based on the two parts of or two cuvettes, in which one cuvette or one part will be filled only with our mobile phase or solvent, and the second portion will be filled with our sample component plus mobile phase. So by comparing these both data, these detector work on that basic principle. So this flow splitter splits our mobile phase into two parts. One part will go to sample injection port or sample introduction device, and the second part is going directly to uh, our differential detector. Suppose generally this flow splitter could be used in that type of HPLC experiment in which we are using gradient illusion chromatography. Gradient illusion, where the mobile phase composition is changing during experiment. So on this side we will get a different composition of our solvent, but if we are using the same composition or we are using isocratic illusion, then this flow splitter is not required generally, because we can already put our mobile phase fixed composition here, and directly it will be compared or differentially analyzed using this flowing mobile phase plus sample components. So in this sample injection port, we introduce our sample using a syringe in liquid state. So as we inject our sample, it mixed with this flowing mobile phase stream and go inside our analytical column. This analytical column separates all the sample components based on their affinity towards stationary phase, and these sample components move to detector one by one according to their retention time, and this detector detects accordingly. After that, these sample components could be fractionated or collected outside in a vessel, because this HPLC technique, the used detectors are generally uh, sample non-degradable detectors, means we can collect our sample components in their pure forms. So this is the schematic diagram of HPLC instrument. Some other type of HPLC schematic diagrams we can also draw. See here, a scheme is shown. The parts are arranged, various parts of HPLC are arranged in a proper sequence. The first part is mobile phase reservoir, in which we put our mobile phase or solvents. Then we see pumping system. That pumping system pressurized these solvents to move inside the analytical column. The flow rates are 1.0 ml per minute generally. 1 ml per minute, these are the flow rates inside the analytical columns. So at these very high pressures we get these type of flow rates. Now we can see filters or these type of devices where any impurity present in our solvent could be filtered, any particulated impurity. Then we see sample injection valve or sample injection port, inside which we introduce our liquid sample. Generally the volume of sample will be 5 to 500 microliter. So this is the range of our sample volume. So it is very low volume. Okay. Now after that we see guard column, which guards our analytical column from any impurities present in our sample or in our mobile phase. Then this analytical column, in this analytical column, various sample components are separated accordingly. Then the various sample components will reach towards detector, and these very high sensitive detectors will detect very low concentrations of these sample components, and after that the generated electrical signal will be will send to these data acquisition or evaluation units. So this whole instrument will be controlled by a controlling unit. Generally, all are automatically controlled in nowadays. So this HPLC flow diagram or scheme we could also represent in place of this flow diagram. Now this is the third schematic diagram of HPLC instrument, which is shown specifically for isocratic elution or isocratic operation, where only one solvent or one solvent mixture is used. So this type of schematic diagram we can also uh, draw for this description of apparatus of HPLC. So whatever diagram is convenient or suitable for you, you can use that diagram for this purpose. So first one is solvent reservoir or eluent reservoir. The second is filter, which removes any particulated or impurity or dust particles from this reservoir. Now the third is high pressure pump with pulse damper. This third number also contains a pulse damper. Generally in high pressure pumps, during pumping, the solvent feels pulses inside the plumbing system. So these pulses could reduce our efficiency of the instrument or efficiency of the separation of separation inside the column. So a pulse damper generally used, that pulse damper removes or reduces these pulses inside this plumbing system. Pressure gauge measures the current instantaneous pressure inside the column or inside this plumbing system. Then sample injection valve is shown at this number 5, where using a syringe we are introducing or injecting our liquid sample. Now sixth number is column oven. Suppose in HPLC instrument somewhat high temperature if required for a specific type of sample, then a oven assembly could also be used in HPLC instrument. Generally in HPLC technique, most of the experiments are done at room temperature, but if high temperature is required, then we can use this oven. Now this seventh number is guard column, which protects our analytical column from any impurities, particulated impurities present in our sample. Eighth number is actual column, true column or analytical column, in which our separation of various sample components take place. Then ninth number is detector, which detects our sample qualitatively and quantitatively. And 10th number is recorder, which is integrator or PC or personal computer, where we obtain our data, and this data will be analyzed using a specific software. These instruments are also, complete instrument is also controlled by a software using this PC. So we get our final data or chromatograms over this PC. Now solvent delivery system. This is the first component or first part of this instrument. See, solvent delivery system. In solvent delivery system, what we see our solvents or mobile phases, solvent reservoirs and high pressure pumps. So these are the two parts which we have to learn in this topic. Solvent delivery system, which delivers our mobile phase inside the instrument, that's solvent reservoirs and degassers and pumps. So first of all we see solvent reservoirs and degassers. Solvent reservoirs means reserves uh, glass bottles glass bottles which reserves our solvents in high quantity. So these mobile phase reservoirs or solvent reservoirs can be any clean inert container. These are a type of container. Generally, glass containers are used, which should be clean and inert. Means these containers should not react with our solvents, because solvents could be any organic solvent or inorganic solvent. So these should be chemically inert with that solvents. Generally, 0.5 liter to 2 liter solvent reservoirs are used, and it should have a cap that allows for a tubing inlet line. So these solvent reservoirs should have a cap, because many solvents which are organic solvents are volatile in nature. So these solvent reservoirs should be completely airtight, and these contain tubing inlet line over this cap which feeds mobile phase to the solvent delivery system. This tubing line feeds mobile phase or our solvents to the solvent delivery system or to the pumps. The cap also serves to keep out dust, reduce solvent evaporation, allow for pressurizing of the bottle. As I already said that the solvents which are volatile in nature, these caps will uh, kept these all vapors inside the solvent reservoir. Also these caps keep the dust out. Offer ports for additional inlet lines and sparging. Dispersing helium or argon into the mobile phase to reduce dissolved air. So this is the degasser, a degassing unit, where a type of degassing is shown here, where we purge helium or argon gas inside our mobile phase to reduce or to remove dissolved air in our solvent, because these dissolved airs could create problem inside the column, because as we know very high pressure will be applied through pumps on this mobile phase. So at that high pressure the mobile phase which is liquid compressed somewhat, because liquids are also compressible. So at that high pressure these dissolved air in the solvent creates air bubbles inside the plumbing system or column. So first of all, by degassing, using degassing technique, where we purge helium or argon inert gases, so these inert gases removes all the high portion of dissolved air inside the solvent. All mobile phases solvents should be freshly filtered and preferably degassed. These could be preferably degassed. Inline degassers, which are primarily used to remove small gas bubbles and reduce dissolved air, as I said earlier, are now popular additions to many HPLC systems. Also there could be vacuum pumps or any sonicators could also be used, but the most effective degasser is the purging or dispersing these inert gases inside our mobile phase. These eliminate the need to degas mobile phase offline. An additional filter is often placed at the end of the mobile phase inlet line to remove any particulates or precipitates that may form inside the mobile phase during its use. So some type of additional filter could also be applied in this lining, tubing line, where these could remove any particulated impurity. So if we see degassing, this degassing could be done inline or offline. This offline degassing is generally used where during experiment or in HPLC instrument already a degasser is not attached. But if a inline degasser is attached, that degasser will remove any dissolved gases during experiment. So this is the description of some apparatus and solvent reservoirs and degassers of this HPLC instrument. So thank you for listening the lecture.